Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? What's happening? What's good? What's crackling? All that. It's Monday morning. It is July 21st and it's 4:14 in the a.m. I'm about ready to hit my paperwork for the day. But I wanted to share this with you. First and foremost, my most sincere apologies. I said I was going to send out some shout outs this weekend and do some Q&A. And unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to. I'm trying to reconfigure my computer, and I'm doing constant backups. You know, as I shared, my brand new computer crashed, and the company has a term for it, DOA, and that just bothers me to no end because you know you're selling something that's not quite right if you have a term for it. You know, I would expect every product to be a quality product, but you have a term for it. You know, then, now this is not the first time I shared that I have an account with this particular company. Then they wanted to offer me a refurbished computer as opposed to, that was the first offer, as opposed to the free repair stated in the warranty. You know, oh, in order to expedite, you didn't care about the expedition of my repair when I first called you. You know, but then you want to offer me a refurbished. So I'm wondering if the computer that I got was a refurbished computer from the get-go. Okay, so I kind of sat with that. I was disturbed by that, but I'm trying to run a small business, you know, and it's like a sale here, a sale there, and it's not really what I want it to be. So I dedicated myself to, you know, laser focus and making this happen. And then it's, you know, this thing happens with the computer. So I took advantage of Prime Day, and I bought a new computer that I paid outright for. It's not on my credit account. So I paid outright cash because it was within reason for me. And so I'm trying to gather up all the information from the cloud as much as I can. I don't know how some files are saved, so I'm picking through the program files to see if I can retrieve my artwork. So that was my weekend. And then I bought a TV stand that you had to put together. I started putting that bad boy together, and I realized these instructions, they've got too much on one page. And, you know, it's like some of the parts weren't there, you know, because they had all these numbers and listings that I could not find in that bag. So it's like I just gave up. Now, in between all that, my 43-inch screen TV died, so I went out and bought a new one. You know, it's just been one thing after another, and, you know, bottom line, I'm a little frustrated. But I managed to get things done. Now, as I said, I'm going to be working on a bunch of things this week. You know, and just trying to get things up and running where I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to be more diligent in my backups. I created restore points. See, I've gotten out of the habit of doing that, but I'm going to start doing that once a month, just so in the event that this thing happens again, I'm covered. And because I have so much artwork, I know I'm taxing my computers. This new purchase that I got from Amazon doesn't have the speedy processor, so it takes me a little while to do things. But I'm going to do things a little bit more cautiously. And I bought a 4 terabyte external hard drive, so I don't have to worry about running out of space. That's how much artwork I have. So I apologize for not getting to the shout outs. I apologize for not getting into the Q&A. Now here's one question that I can and will answer that I thought should be in the forefront of the Q&A I received thus far. Now, One of the questions was asked a while back, and I will reiterate. Yes, yes, yes. I am part of the LBGTQIA or AI. Well, what the alphabet people, I am part of that community. And I know people are clutching their pearls, but I'm going to tell you, as my grandma, whenever something gets real pressing, I hear my grandma's voice. It's like, baby, if you're ashamed of it, you don't need to be it. So there you are, out in the open. I'm not ashamed of anything, and I fall under that umbrella of I'm a good person. That part. I have a conscience. I'm connected to my conscience. I'll tell you who I am. I'll tell you my strengths and my weaknesses. There's no need to gaslight, because I'll come in telling you who I am. Okay, so I'm going to keep repeating that, because I don't want people to say, oh, you misled me, this, that. You know how people get when you say something that they don't like or they don't agree with, rather than asking questions. They get behind that keyboard and get bold. And that bothers me more than anything else. So if you want to get buck, we can get buck. I'm that girl. But don't hide behind the keyboard and play on a safe environment in anonymity. Again, my grandma's voice. If you're ashamed of it, you don't need to be it. And that falls under the all-encompassing. You don't need to say it either, if you got to hide behind the keyboard. All right, say it with your whole chest. Say it flat-footed. Now, the question that begs an answer from me, it's like it was posed in a very polite way. So that's why I'm going to answer it. Why aren't you in active ministry if you are sanctioned, licensed, and ordained? I'm in active ministry for, I want to say, life-changing purposes. My job is a substance abuse counselor. That's what I get paid to do. And it was a result of being in ministry and doing an internship in one of the toughest neighborhoods in the Bay Area. It's San Francisco Tenderloin area. We had a little outreach mission, and I did preach there. And we preached a little bit, I think maybe 10, 15 minutes, and then we fed people. So that's where I cut my eye teeth. Now, I'm not in ministry under the umbrella of a church any longer. And that is because at one point in time, I was appointed as youth minister. And one of the babies came to me, and by babies I mean teenagers, because they were much younger than I was. So one of the babies came to me and let me know that there was some inappropriate behavior by an adult in their life. And I immediately got on the phone and I reported what I knew. And after everybody was addressed in the situation, I was ostracized. That person had been under the umbrella, or the hospices, under the auspices, under the auspices of the church longer than I had been. This person was very popular, recognized, and I was the new Jack, and I was the one that pulled back that veil. And so I must be involved in some kind of way, shape, or form, which let me know that many people knew but claimed not to know. And it was just an ugly situation. And it's like I was made to feel uncomfortable. Not, hey, you did the right thing. And just kind of left on the fringe of a lot of things. And with all that being said, I had to say bye-bye. I have too many young people that I deal with at work, that are in my family, don't need to grow up with that weight and that burden. Now, I need to say that the individual who came to me with that information turned out to be very damaged by what had transpired. They went on into a full-blown addiction. They got cited for theft. They had gotten so far into their addiction that they were pregnant with no prenatal care and ended up having a baby just out there, I want to say in the wild, because the streets are definitely in the wild. And, that just pains me knowing that. So I still continue in ministry in this platform, and I consider my job ministry. So there you have it. And that is why I'm not involved in the overall kind of standard church setting. I do share what I call rabbinical talk with somebody that I went to school with, but somebody that was ordained long before me, and I know can preach up a storm. So I do have these long talks with this particular individual, and we've been friends for quite some time. And, I am still very much in the Word, with a street kind of feel to it. And I think the folks who have that information from both worlds make great preachers. And as one of the pastors who taught me a lot of information before I attended school once said, you preach out of your own experience. And you preach because that experience has taught you to lean into your faith. Because many a time that's all that sustains you. So sit with that for a minute and see what you come up with. So those are 2 questions that I answered for you. And I hope to get to shout outs within the week. Now, I'm going to make this an ironclad promise. It's not maybe, not a if. It's going to be an ironclad promise. I definitely will acknowledge all the people who have tuned in, all the people who are following on all my social media platforms.